tell me when.
Go.
We're good. Okay. So the first thing you do is you pick an angle. What angle do you think are your options? What angles are your options? 90? 45 and 30, 60. Why did you choose those two angles?
We have the triangles.
Those are the triangles you have. So, you got a 45 degree and you've got a 30, 60. This is a 45 degree at sonometric. Okay? I think. Yeah. Just choose one, y'all. It does not matter. At least at this point. After you do A8, if you did 45, you might decide to do 30-60 based on how the drawing came out. Okay, and I'll sort of go over some of those things as I'm doing the drawing. You might start out with 30-60 and see that some things aren't really showing up right. So these drawings sometimes can do tricks on your eyes, and it sort of depends on your composition which one would be better. But typically, I would say 90% of the time, it just doesn't matter. Pick one. Okay? So, that's the first thing you do. Just pick one, and then you put the other triangle away. Hide it, and don't bring it back out till you finish. Okay? Hide it. I'm not joking. Because if you pick up the wrong one, it's going to be wrong. So I'm going to hide it. The second thing you do is you draw the plan. So, we're going to pretend that this is my parallel bar, and that this is a parallel line. Okay? And what you do is you draw your plan. So you align the bottom of the triangle with your parallel bar, right? We're going to draw the plan here. And of course, this is not big enough. But you draw the plan, okay? And then y'all are even gonna like have all your grids on here. See that? You probably have a figure like right there. You probably have another figure down here somewhere, right? See how that's your project in a way? Okay. So you draw the plan. Once you get your angle set and you start drawing this, you can even put the plan drawing that you have underneath and trace it. Okay? When you're and I highly encourage you to trace. I think tracing is a fabulous thing, right? We have light boxes that you can use down here, but the one thing you need to be careful about tracing is that you never just want to trace without using tools. So typically when I trace, I sort of get my big stuff on there, and then I normally don't trace anymore because I want everything to be exactly right using my parallel bar and my tools, okay? But you seriously just draw the plan at an angle, okay? The third thing, vertical lines are always vertical. Just like when you're drawing those one-point perspectives or even a two-point perspective, verticals are vertical, okay? We're in architecture, we want things to stand up, right, nice and straight, okay? Vertical. So, for that, you use the same triangle. And let's see here. I'm going to have problems because this thing is not big enough. But we're going to try. I'm going to freehand this because my tool's not, y'all do not ever want to freehand, but see how that kind of comes up from there? And see how, but you also see how things are starting to play tricks on your eyes. You can't really tell if it's coming up or down. But anyway, verticals are vertical. If we explode this thing up, So you see how that's sitting there? Verticals are vertical. The fourth thing that you need to know is all things are measured. So you're going to be drawing these at the same size that they are built on your models. And we did that so that you can literally take a ruler, measure the height of the walls, measure the thickness of the walls, and then draw it at that exact size. So, if that line right there in your model is 3 inches, on your drawing it's going to be 3 inches, okay? So you don't have to convert any sort of measurements here. We're doing this at full scale. Now pretty soon, well, I guess at the second half of this semester, you will be having to convert sizes of things. But right now, and that's kind of what you're going to end up with, okay? I've sort of exploded that to show you how that would get done. If it's 1 inch in this direction, that's going to be 1 inch. If the thickness of your board is 1/16 inch, you're going to make that thickness 1/16. Okay? So everything is measured. You don't have to guess about anything. Okay? These cards are 4 by 6, right? So there it is. That's going to be 4 inches, and that's going to be 6 inches. Everything is full scale. And then finally, do not add, this is the one that you'll sort of get tripped up on, is do not add any more angles. Every single line on this drawing will be drawn with whichever triangle you choose, okay? What I mean by that is there are no horizontals in this drawing, okay? None. There's a horizontal here because I'm just pretending that's my parallel bar. There's no horizontal in my drawing. You will only be drawing at the 2 angles that it has, and then you'll be using your vertical line here from your triangle. So, you will have that angle, and that angle. That's it. And these are going to determine be determined by whichever triangle you chose to use. Okay? Now, one of the things that you want to watch out for, and this is where I said you might want to change as you go forward. If you've got like a square figure and you're drawing with a 45, what happens? What's something that's going to happen with that? Huh?
It'll just be like a square.
It'll look like a diamond. Yeah. And then the verticals are going to align with each other. So what I mean by that is, what'll end up happening is this front line, that front edge of the box, of the cube, and this back one are going to coincide, and then your eye can't tell what's going on. You typically want to avoid lines coinciding. You would really want that to be drawn like this, so that you have that back line separate from the front, okay? All right? So, on this next assignment, you're drawing 4 of these. You're going to have a quadrant on each sheet. You should put the base in the same place on each sheet. So what that means is that wherever you draw your plan, you should have it in the same place on each sheet. I would encourage you, that one, it looks like they did 2 one way and 2 the other way. I'm fine if you do that. As you move forward, though, you need to choose one. You want them to all be at the same angle. You also have to explode everything. And it's really up to you how much you explode. I would encourage you to explode everything. And the reason is because it's a little more difficult, and you're going to get more practice on how to do that. And so you'll end up being better. This is really our practice time, okay? This is not your final. This is not, your midterm. We will have a midterm, and you will have these on the wall, like your final ones. So I would encourage you, this is your time to try out things, okay? So explode as much as you can. And what I mean by that is pull all of your figures up. You typically don't want to take figures out to the sides and things like that. You just want to bring them up. You should plan so that they don't go off the sheet. I would also encourage you to try to use different line types. So far we've really been focusing on line weights and using different line weights, and that's where the line's thicker or thinner. But going forward, we're gonna add in line types. So you're gonna have dashes, you're gonna have dots, and you should, try out using those. I would encourage you to have dashed lines to show things exploding up. I would also encourage you to show, use x-ray vision so you can draw dashed lines of what's behind something. So for instance, here, here, these lines are in the back and I can't actually see them, right? But I can draw them in there. So draw them in as dashes and just give us as much information as you possibly can. I've also had students try to draw every single edge. So for instance, you do have to show us the thickness of things. So if this is a cylinder, but I've also had students draw in all the edges, even all the ones that are hidden down there, okay? The more of that you do, it is more difficult, but I think you should try to do some things. This is your time to experiment with lines and line types, okay?